Hello everyone, I am Hiren Chafekar, and today we are going to learn about a new service of AWS, that is AWS EMR. So let's see what actually is AWS EMR. So looking forward for the full form of EMR, that is AWS Elastic Map Reduce. So it is a service that actually uses Apache Spark and Hadoop. Now you might be thinking, what is Apache Spark and Hadoop? So that is used for big data analysis. Whenever we have very large data sets, the organizations that have so many data to look after, such type of frameworks are used for it. So AWS EMR provides the option for analyzing such type of or managing such type of large data sets within the AWS cloud. Also, you can run petabyte scale analysis at less than half of the cost of traditional on-premises solutions and over 3 times faster than standard Apache Hadoop also. And you can also run some short running jobs. For example, if you have large amount of data but you want to run some short jobs on it, so you can also easily spin up and spin down the clusters. Yes, you need to create some kind of clusters, and then also it is very much cost effective because you might be paying just for per second that your instances are being used. And also if you want to run for long workloads, like you have long running workloads, then you can create highly available clusters that automatically scale to meet your demand. And if you're on existing on premises deployment of open source tools, like I've already told you, Apache Spark, Hadoop, or Apache Hive, then you can also run EMR clusters on AWS Outpost. So now let's see what actually uh, problems it is handling. So firstly, I told that it can easily run and scale Hadoop clusters. We are forming clusters which have large data sets. So we are running and scaling those clusters. Secondly, we are going to integrate key AWS services. You can store your whole data on the S3, and then you can connect it with the AWS EMR. You can also use EC2. You can use different type of key pairs to connect with the SSH. Now also it enables a broad set of big data use cases. Now next we'll see what actually is Apache Hadoop. So looking forward to Apache Hadoop, it uses a distributed processing architecture. So firstly, Apache Hadoop came into the picture. It was a kind of architecture where we can map all our clusters. Suppose you are running a big organization, and in this organization, you are having so many different type of servers, and each server are having large data sets. So you want to map all those servers together, and if you want to use them like just like a normal file system, like on our laptop or on our PC or on our Android, what do we have? We have a file system using which we can easily manage all our system files, all our media files. The same way you can manage all your clusters using the HDFS, that is Hadoop distributed file system, to store your data locally, and you can also process them. Now main point here is it provides nodes. There are majorly two type of nodes. First one is the normal master node, and the second one are the slave nodes. So you can name them accordingly, and the master node assigns different type of tasks to the slaves, and also it can handle the server failures also. And yes, in Apache Hadoop also we can scale the Hadoop clusters easily by simply adding or the removing nodes. Now next we are going to see the advantages, disadvantages, and use case, like where the AWS EMR is being used. So firstly, AWS is very much helpful. So it is easy to use. Now you might be thinking why? Because it is very much costly. Also, it is very easy to use with very great UI that the Amazon, that is Amazon AWS, is providing us. Analysts, data engineers, and many different data scientists are using EMR notebooks, which is also allowing individuals and teams to easily collaborate. You can easily collaborate, and there are large data sets, so you can explore them, process them. You can also visualize this data. You can specify the version of EMR according to you want. So it is very much easy to use. Secondly, it has very much low cost. As I told you that the pricing goes on per second basis. Thirdly, it is very elastic, just like Apache Hadoop. Here you can easily add or remove the clusters. I mean, you can easily add new nodes, or you can connect it with different storage of S3 with all the different type storage. Fourth one, it is very much reliable. You need to spend very less time tuning and monitoring your cluster. It's not the customer's job here. Everything is handled by AWS itself. So you just need to provide the default configuration during the initial phase. Also it is very much secure because AWS is a trusted brand. So overall all the services that AWS is providing is going to be very much secure with EC2 firewall settings, which is controlling our network access to instances and all the launch clusters, which is itself going to be inside the Amazon virtual private cloud. There are going to be server side encryption and client side encryption also. The last point is it is very much flexible. As I've already explained it in the previous point and previous slides, it is very much flexible. You can use your own custom Amazon Linux AMIs also, and easily you can also install additional application with bootstrap actions. We are going to understand what the bootstrap actions and all of them are. Now we'll see disadvantages. There are not much disadvantages, you can say. We can say like AWS EMR is just not much new, but it is not much matured also. Like it can become more developed by adding new machine learning capabilities. So with those, AWS can develop itself much more farther, and much more different startups and techs which are very much involved in data science and data analysis can use it very much, and can have used with proper insights. And the second point is more simpler APIs for easy access and processing. Like already it is easy to use, that's we can agree totally 100%, but more simpler APIs would actually help them to combine and collaborate with different type of projects. There are not many major disadvantages. I would totally recommend using the AWS EMR, because you can see there are many number of advantages here. It is at very low cost and at very easy to use, no configuration. Second, the third thing that we are going to see is use cases, like where it is going to be used majorly. So firstly, we are seeing the point that is machine learning. So we can use EMRs with built-in machine learning tools, including the Apache Spark, MLab, TensorFlow with Apache MXNet for scalable machine learning algorithms. We can also use for custom AMIs and bootstrap actions. Next, you can also use it for extract transform load. Now, EMR can be used to quickly and cost effectively perform data transformation workload. So whenever we want to transform any kind of data or workload from one cluster to another, for example, sorting, aggregate function, or any joins on large data sets, we are not talking about a single database or something. We are talking about large data sets. So even smaller functions or simpler functions like sort and join are going to take a lots of time. So AWS EMR is very much easy and helpful in such situations. The third one is clickstream analysis, analyzing clickstream data from Amazon S3 using Apache Spark and Apache Hive, using which we can segment the users, we can also understand the user preferences, and we can deliver them more effective advertisements. So this can be used by companies like Google and the Amazon itself to provide good user experience in the advertisement domain. Fourth one is real-time streaming. Yes, we have been using Netflix a lot, so we can also analyze the events from Apache Kafka, Amazon Kinesis. This is another service from AWS for and other streaming data sources in real time with Apache Stream, Spark streaming. So using these, we can actually create long running and highly available and also fault tolerant streaming data pipeline on EMR. And all this data is actually set into the S3 or HDFS, the Hadoop data file system that I talked previously. And all these insights are actually shared to Amazon Elasticsearch service. The fifth one is interactive analytics. Now, EMR notebooks provide a managed analytical environment. They actually provide us an environment, and we can use the open source Jupyter to allow the data scientists and all the different analysts to prepare and visualize different type of data. They can collaborate with their peers, co-workers, and they can build the application by using different type of analysis. They can analyze and understand the data. And the last is genomics. Like EMR can be used to perform vast amount of genomic data and other large scientific, all the experiments and all the astronomical units and different type of very large data sets that are going on. So such type of scientific data can be processed very quickly and efficiently, and researchers can also access such data hosted for free on AWS. uh, Now next we are going to understand majorly about pricing. Like Amazon EMR pricing is very simple and very predictable. Like you are going to pay for every second that you are going to use. Yes, if you are using for 40 seconds, then Amazon will count it for 1 minute minimum. Like for 1 minute it is going to count minimum, but after 1 minute it is going to just count for the 1 seconds. So as you can see in the second point, they have given like if you are going to use 10 node clusters for 10 hours, so it will be same to the 100 node cluster running for the 1 hour. As you can count itself yourself, I mean 10 into 10 also goes for 100 units, and the same goes for 100 multiplied by 1. So it doesn't matter if you're running for how many clusters, if it is just going to be charged only for per second. And the third point being that the hourly rate mostly depends upon what instance you are using and how your billing is actually calculated. We can see like the billing is calculated to second and it is shown in the decimal form. Mostly the range is between 0.011 per hour to $0.27 per hour. So it is very cheap as compared to other services and other platforms. So practical implementation now I'm going to show you. So as we are going to move to, so now we are going to click on EMR. So firstly go to the create cluster. Inside create cluster, just name whatever the name you are comfortable with. So I'll name it here my name, that is Hiren cluster. Next, if you want any kind of logging, like these logs are automatically stored into S3, and this is the S3 folder here. Secondly, there are two kinds of launch mode, that is cluster and step execution. In cluster, everything is provided by default with all the specified applications. While in step execution, like if you can read here, like EMR will create a cluster and execute all the added steps. All the steps are gone into detail and it will also terminate after it is done. So we will go with the cluster mode only. And release, I'm going to use the default one provided here, EMR 5.31.0. Now whatever application you are having, suppose you're working in an organization and you have the big data role to perform for your organization, then you can use whatever application you need to for. So I'm going with the core Hadoop here, and then we'll leave this option for now. And hardware configuration, you can use the instance type whatever you want. For now we'll just skip the default one, md5.x large. And number of instances will be 3 by default. I mean the minimum required, one master and two will be for core nodes. So cluster scaling, we are not going to do it for now. For security, I'm going to choose an EC2 key pair. I already have one. If you don't know how to create, you can go to this link and you can learn how to create an EC2 key pair and then connect with it. EC2 key pair is actually used to connect your EMR instance. You can easily connect to your laptop, so you can provide your jobs or commands, whatever you want to. Now just simply click on create cluster. So now the AWS is performing the starting operation. You can see here the starting operation is being performed. So till it starts, I'm going to show you the summary. You can see there are different IDs and creation dates being provided. Now we'll directly move to events here, and you can see the time, like Amazon EMR cluster is being created, and you can see the name here that I provided, Hiren cluster. Secondly, I was talking about the bootstrap actions, like whatever action or whoever is providing the operations, everything will be recorded here, and different type of steps you can provide here. You can edit the configurations. Suppose you have your on ready cluster and you're migrating it to the EMR, AWS EMR, then you can also transfer your JAR file here, and you can also view the JSON files here. In hardware, you can see all the clusters that have been provisioned. Currently, it is provisioning. So one is provision for master and two nodes have been provisioned for core. And the instance type also you can have a look for here, md5.large. We provided the same one, and you can easily monitor everything once the service is starting. So you can look for whether it is ideal or not, and for how much time it is ideal. You can see how many apps have been completed, failed, or any type of containers are pending or not. And you can also see for apps that have been killed, submitted. So all the operations you can have a look for it, and you can these are the basic names. And if you want to directly go for the URL from here, you can easily go. So HDFS as the Apache Hadoop application we have been using. So AWS provides us with the file system name node here and the user interface URL. Uh, so SSH tunnel not enabled. So we need to enable the SSH tunnel. So what we'll do is we'll go to summary, and then we'll come here, and we'll go to security group for masters. So just click on this link. So you can see here, we have two entries here. I'll just in Yes, so we can see slave group for elastic MapReduce and master group for elastic MapReduce. We'll not do for slave, that is optional one. If you want to, you can. We'll just move for the master one. Okay, so we'll come here, and in the inbound rule, we are going to edit one more, and we are going to add. So just go scroll it down here, click on add rule, and here write SSH, because we need to use putty to just have access to our instance, AWS EMR instance, and we are going to provide the public access, totally public access. Okay, so I've already provided, and now I'm going to click on save rules. Okay, so it is showing that there was an error modifying your security group inbound. Okay, so it is showing that it already exists. Okay, no issues. If you don't have it, so you can add it. It already exists. So no problem. We'll go to back, and now we'll have a look here whether our, okay, it is still starting. I'll pause the recording for now. Okay, so I have been waiting for since 3-4 minutes, and now it is running. So you can see here the status here. And I was also talking about the virtual private cloud. So you can place all the data or all the clusters inside a private cloud. So it isn't directly accessible to the public. It will go through the as you have been as you have configured your AWS settings. So it is the same. There are different three subnets here. So we'll try to access. I will go inside the Hiren cluster. Okay, again it is showing waiting cluster ready for last step after last step completed. Okay, no problem. We'll go to here, connect to the master node using SSH. Just click on here and you can read the settings. So first it is telling download putty.exe to your computer. Okay, I have already downloaded. I'm going to start my putty. Okay, I have my putty started. So start putty in the category list, click session. So we'll go to session, and we are just in the host. We are going to paste this. So okay, I'm pasting it here. Now in the category list, expand connection SSH and click auth. Expand the connection, then click on SSH and go to auth. Okay, now I'm going to browse it, and then I'm going to select the file, that is the ppk file. Open. If this dialog box occurs, just click on yes. So you can see I have access to the EMR instance. Now you can perform all the jobs to the cluster. Currently we don't have any jobs or any clusters to perform. So this was just to show you the access, how we can access it and how all the operations that you can do on here. So I'm going to close it now. So are you sure you want to close? Yes. So we are going to close this also. And one more thing, you can configure all your security configurations from here, or if you want to add or specify any data encryption or authentication settings after creating, so you can do it from here. You can also block public access, as I told you. So block public access is on by default, and VPC subnets I've already talked about, and events also I've already talked about. You can see the events have increased. Firstly, the pending steps were running. After that, all the execution started, and then the cluster also begin. You can see it, everything is started from here. So never forget, like once your work is done, just select your cluster and click on terminate, else you might be inviting extra charges which you don't want. So click on terminate. So once it terminates, you can log out. So thank you very much. That's all from my side.